Welcome back to Pursuing Profit with Principles. I am so excited today to bring you my guest, Amber Wise. Amber and I met a few months ago, and she's a delightful young woman. She is a mother of four. She's a military wife. She's a busy mom. She's an entrepreneur, and she helps women get in shape from the comfort of their home. Welcome, Amber. So great to have you here.
Thank you, Regina. I'm so glad to be here.
Awesome. Well, I know that our audience is going to love hearing your story today. So let's dive right in. Can you share with us a few moments about your journey, how you got to where you're at, and what it is that motivates you to do this for other women?
Yes, I would love to share that. So, a little bit of a backstory on me here. At 2 years old, I was diagnosed with what's called cerebral palsy on the right side of my body. And the doctors at that time told my mother, based on the MRI and based on my current mobility, that I would never run, I would never ride a bicycle, I would never swim, I would never have a quote unquote normal life. And from hearing that all through my childhood, I just desperately wanted to have that mobility. I desperately wanted to run and play on the playground with the other kids, right? And of course, there's lots of fun bullying, not so fun, that go with that. But just growing up different, Regina, and feeling like, I guess maybe like not enough. And then at some point, I decided that I was going to try anyway. And so I know that that sometimes can resonate with people because they're like, okay, I don't have a physical disability, but I feel like, or I've been told I can't do something. And for me, I started learning to ride a bicycle at like 10 years old, way past when other people, I've got a 3-year-old little boy and we're already putting him on a bicycle right now. But my sister said, you can do anything, Amber, you can do this. And we started practicing. And then I started practicing running. And I just started doing these things that my body shouldn't be able to do. And it encouraged me and it helped me so much. And fast forward a bunch of years, I ran a half marathon. I competed in triathlons. I'm now a personal trainer. I've had 4 children naturally, ages 21 down to 3 years old.
Wow.
And so, yes, so I am proof that if you really put your mind to something, you can do it. And through that, through moving my body when I shouldn't have been able to, through working out, through a painful divorce, through running, my cares away, literally sometimes, I learned that moving your body and getting your body in the best shape it can be helped me to become a better entrepreneur. It helped me to become a better mother. It helped me to become just a better human in general. And that is my encouragement to all women. Like when you start taking care of yourself, when you start pushing those limits, when you start saying, I am enough, then magic starts happening. And my whole life drastically changed from the time where I decided, even though I'm not supposed to be able to run, I'm going to run a half marathon. Even though I'm not supposed to have a normal life, I'm going to lift weights. And I started losing weight and I started having great results. And from that came the career that I'm in now, which is helping women get in great shape, but also helping them to build confidence and helping them know that they're like enough, just like they are. And so again, a little bit of a backstory there, but that's my come from.
That's incredible, Amber. And I'm particularly moved by that because I have a grandson who has cerebral palsy as well. And so that I find it so inspiring to hear your story. I have since the very first time I heard it. And I know that there are those in our listening audience who are going to be inspired by your story as well. I'd like you to elaborate a little bit more, if you would. You talked about overcoming those challenges, actually helping you in your business as well and as a mom. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that, how that connects together?
Yes, so I could elaborate a lot on that because when it comes to the science of the brain, from having the cerebral palsy, from being a personal trainer, from being I read a lot on the brain science, and it's just remarkable, remarkable the connection between moving your body and your brain. And so a few things I like to tell people are it really helps you like improving your memory. It can help your creativity. So many of us, Regina, we're so creative as kids. Like I thought I was a legit magician as a child. There's no exaggeration here. I once swallowed a quarter, had to go to the emergency room because I thought, not like magic tricks, like I thought I could actually do magic.
Right.
And so I think we're born with that creativity and that fun and that excitement. And then somewhere along the way, we start losing that. And
So true.
it's been shown, it's been proven that 20 minutes of moving your body a day will actually stimulate your creativity and increase it by 60%.
Wow.
And yes. And
Wow.
so it's huge. It's huge for creativity. And this is just one area I'm speaking on because there are so many in relation to being a mom and in relation to running your own business. Because I know, the struggles of momming. Sometimes we got to get creative. And
Yes,
so
most definitely. Creativity and
so
inspiration get you through.
yeah, prayer.
Lots of prayer.
So that's one of the things I always tell people. And then focus. We as women have so many things that we have to work on the daily basis. Like we have, I know before this, we were talking about your weekend and, how much stuff you had on your plate.
Yeah.
And I think we all have that. We have so much things that can take away our focus from just being present in our business or just being present with our spouse or just being present with our children. But again, exercise has shown to help that. And so just through knowing these things and just trial and error, to be honest, and just starting to move my body. And one day I went on a run, and then one day I tried weights, and then one day I tried high intensity interval training. And I found that as I kept moving my body, as I kept taking care of me, my confidence started going up. My focus started going up. My creativity started going up. So it's all related. And the better we can take care of our bodies, the more we are a better asset to our family and to our business and to our customers.
So true. And you're absolutely right about that connection between the brain and the body. Years ago, I came across a methodology called educational kinesiology, or brain gym for short. And it's all about that integration between the brain and the body, and so powerful. Helped me in so many ways. And then I was able, through learning how to do it, I was able to help a lot of other people through that too. So
Wow.
talk to me about when you're able to help other women achieve their goals, what that does for you, and what are some of the things that you've been able to help women achieve?
Yes, I've helped women and men because I work with men, just not in my main business, but I've helped some women and men lose over 100 pounds. Which is huge.
That is huge.
Right now, I'm helping a woman who is super busy, but she wants to gain weight because she's severely underweight. So I'm helping her with nutrition and workout strategies to help her gain weight. And what it does for me is it's just exciting. So within my Fit Ladies Boot Camp, I always, the people that show up daily for the workouts, I always see a huge amount of progress. So they'll lose weight, they'll start having more confidence. And I have 4 children, 3 girls and 1 boy, but something about helping someone else as well start hitting their goals, it just lights me up. I get so excited to know that I am a catalyst or I am part of the catalyst for a huge change in their life. So yes, it gets very exciting.
It does. And on my end, I call it the ripple effect, and being part of that ripple effect in their lives and the lives that they impact. Now, you said a big word in there. You said boot camp. And we were talking about exercise and boot camp, my mind immediately goes to like a military boot camp. But talk to us about your boot camp. Share with us some information about the boot camp.
It's funny to me because my spouse is in the military,
Yes.
and sometimes he'll come home and tell me different things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so harsh. This is not a harsh boot camp. That's why my brand colors are pink, light pink, and dark pink, and all the soft grays, and because it's not harsh. But I love the word boot camp because to me, it motivates me. It inspires me. Like, I want to be tough, because of my disability. I don't think I could have joined the military, but as a child, while I was doing magic, I was also thinking about being a GI Jane, like I want to be tough, but that's not what the Fit Ladies Boot Camp is exactly. It's basically 20-minute workout videos, 20-ish minute workout videos from home that have proven results. And so a lot of people I find, I'll go to the gym to meet a one-on-one client, Regina, and I'll see the same people in there day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, and they're not making progress. And I just want to hug them and tell them, great job for keep showing up. But sometimes we need a little strategy in our life.
Right.
And so I love that I can put together these workouts that will actually get people results.
I love that you used the word strategy there, because it's so important in business to have strategy, have an overall strategy. And yet we don't necessarily think of that in conjunction with our weight loss and our physical fitness. So I love that you use that term. And so how do you go about that with an individual client or with someone in your boot camp? How do you go about helping them create a strategy or creating a strategy for them? Is that something you do?
I do. There's two different methods depending on if they're in the boot camp versus if they're one-on-one. But most of my clients do come to me in the boot camp. And that's what I really love, because I want people to have that community and that connection while they're getting the results and while they're struggling and, all the ups and downs when we start something new. Community has shown to have massive benefits for that. So most of the time people join my boot camp and then they start these workouts, and we have a beginner section if you're super new and a super beginner. But otherwise they just jump right in and they do the daily workout. And so if you move your body, if you get your heart rate up and you use weights consistently, then you're going to start seeing results. And so I've put together very on purpose the workouts and the moves that people need for their everyday life to be stronger, but then also to get those results that a lot of us women want as far as like weight loss or toning up. And then also within the group, they have access to healthy dinner recipes every night of the week. There's dinner recipes. There's a shopping list weekly that comes out that helps women make better choices for themselves and their families.
Right. Excellent. And that's so important. There's exercise and then there's eating, right? And you got to focus on both sides.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, for sure. And I like focusing on the working out part the most because I'm from Southwest Louisiana and we, Regina, like to eat there. And so I'm not a big fan of diets. I don't use the word cheat meal because I don't think we're some, criminal for eating a piece of cake. I think that the diet culture has gotten us so off track, and it can create eating disorders. And so I like to just teach healthy eating and moderation on the things that if you really love an Oreo, have some Oreos, but just don't have the whole bag. Right. And don't have it every week.
Exactly. So true. Yes. So moderation is one of those things that you teach, obviously, then. We've talked about women, that you primarily help women, but you do help men as well. Is there a particular age range that you like working with, or what are some of the other factors that come into your ideal client, the person that you most like to work with?
Regina, that's a great question. I'm one of those people, like, we're never supposed to use the word anyone, I know, but I really enjoy helping women who have motivation. So if you're 20 years old or if you're 70 years old, I have people in both of those categories in my boot camp right now, and they've been in for quite a while. You can have results in this group, and I will love to work with you. But if you are somebody who, and these people typically don't join my boot camp, but if you're someone who kind of makes excuses for yourself, you kind of just say, oh, tomorrow, 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 but never actually do it. Some of us say tomorrow, tomorrow, and we just need that little extra push. But some people just aren't as motivated. I like to work with women who are motivated, who see the benefits of moving their body, even if they don't technically love working out, because a lot of us don't love it. I do, because I'm a nerd like that, a fitness nerd. But those that want to make change, those that are ambitious, those that have had success in one other area of their life, those people are the people that are really great for me. I can do a lot for them. If you're going to sit on the couch all day and not do as much work towards your overall health, that's okay. But it may not be right to join the boot camp yet.
Gotcha. Amber, and we can edit this, but I'm hearing a sound in the background. Is that on your end or mine?
Yes, something, my heater just cut on. I was
a
little nervous about that. Can I go turn it off? Are we good?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we'll redo this last question. Okay.
Perfect. I didn't like the answer anyway. Okay, hopefully it will turn off in just a second. My upstairs one hopefully is not on. I'm going to actually text one of my girls right now just to have them go turn it off. They're in class, but hopefully they'll see this. My husband is in North Carolina right now at something, and every time he's on the phone and his fan in his hotel cuts on, it's like so loud. And so as soon as I heard it cut on, I was like, oh no. Can someone?
Now, your Facebook page says that you're in El Paso. Is that right? Why was I thinking you were in Arizona? Were you in Arizona for a while?
El Paso is very similar to Arizona, though.
Yeah.
Off here, upstairs. Yeah. I was like, oh my goodness, I know that's going to be so loud. And what do I do? I'm in the middle of answering a question. Hold on, let me.
Yeah, I've got some editing I've got to do on some. And the other day, the trash truck came while I was in the middle of an interview. And I'm like, oh man, I hope that it didn't come through. I haven't had a chance to listen to that one yet. But
it just takes a second to cut off. It's just it's about, turning that heat on for me.
Sure. We'll just wait a second because,
Yeah, I was on this women's webinar, seminar, summit. I don't know what these things are called, and her name is Wendy Kirlo or something like that. I don't know how to say her last name. She's in Australia, but I can't even believe I was like sharing a space with these people, super successful. I was so excited to be on that. And the UPS guy came and my dog started barking like crazy. Regina, I was so mortified. I was like, no, don't be quiet, dog. And she's so old. She doesn't listen. There's literally nothing you can do except for wait for the loud barking to stop. So, okay. I think we're good. Did the noise go away?
Okay. It did. It stopped. All right. So, and we just recorded all the way through that. So I'll just cut all of that out.
Sure.
No worries. So now we'll start again on this last question. So give it a couple seconds pause here. So Amber, I know that you work primarily with women. You do have some men in your audience, but can you describe for us a little bit more who your ideal client is? What is it that you're really looking for in either your male or female clients?
Right. And so that's a great question. I have women in my boot camp that are 20 years old. And then I have women in my boot camp that are in their 70s. And so the age is not as much of a factor, so much as the want to and the motivation. And so, people can give you, being a business coach, you can give someone all the advice, but if they don't take it, then it's not going to do any good. So you have to have some level of motivation. And the way I kind of help people know if they're a right fit is, are you driven? Do you have ambition in any area of your life? Do you have
Mm,
success at any area of your life? So you may not be great at fitness yet, but maybe you're rocking out a business, or maybe you have like
right.
an all-star family team, like your kids are amazing. And,
Yeah.
so maybe you're winning in another area of your life, but you just need guidance and strategy in this area. So somebody that's motivated, somebody that has had success in other areas of their life, but they're just kind of really struggling with the weight loss aspect of it.
Right. There's that beautiful word strategy again. I love that you come from this to this from a strategic standpoint. That so many times in life, in business, people kind of float along without a strategy. And I love that you come at it from that perspective. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think, being intentional about everything we do. I think our society, I'm not going to get on a soapbox here, but our society sometimes has us looking at our phones or looking at a computer and forgetting to be strategic with our life. So you can get
Yeah.
on, Facebook or Instagram and spend 50 minutes and not have a single word with your family or work your business or, do something healthy for yourself. And so I think being strategic in all areas of your life is very important.
I remember you reminded me of something there. I remember my husband and I going to a restaurant several years ago, and we looked over at this family that had come in, and I don't know, there were maybe four of them there, and they weren't saying a word to one another. They were all on their phones, all doing something different, and no communication whatsoever.
And it's just not, that's not being intentional. That's not being intentional with your time with your family. And then 10 years will go by and you'll say, I don't have a relationship with my mother, my daughter, my spouse.
Exactly.
I was in Canada and we came to this little bitty town, and the tour guide told me this is the most popular area people like to come to for children like to come. And I said, why? Yeah, I mean, it was beautiful, but I said it was near Lake Louise, but a little bit
Hmm.
off the beaten path. And he said, children love coming here because there's no cell service. So their parents pay attention to them.
Yeah.
And this was, 8-9 years ago, before a lot of kids had phones. And it just broke my heart because I had little ones at home. And
Right.
so, and we're off topic, I know, but I just
Well,
think that we have to be strategic in any area of our life. But I think that if you're not having results at one area of your life, it's because you don't have it's not that you may not have the motivation, you may not have the skill set or the strategy to do it. And so hire outside help for that area of your life so you can be intentional, so you can strategize that area. And so I think it's important because we as women, I know, can be very hard on ourselves at times. And we can say, oh, I just don't have it in me. No, you just may not have the knowledge yet.
right. Well said. And you and I both know the value of having a coach. We're both coaches in our own way and in our own arena, but we know the value of having a coach and how it can help you see past those blind spots, past that lack of skill sets that you might have or might not have in a particular area. Well said.
I find that gratitude is magic.
Mhm.
Sometimes we think if we're hard on ourselves and if we beat ourselves up enough, that that's going to make things move along quicker. But it's actually like sludge in your gas. Like if you've ever had bad gas and then your car doesn't start running
Yeah.
correctly, that's kind of what it is. We think that putting these negative thoughts, because that's what they are, and I call it shoulding all over yourself.
Yes.
I should be here,
Right.
because frustration, when we're frustrated in our business, it means that we see ourselves at a certain level. We think that we should be at another level. Both
Mhm.
of those are just opinions, right? So the
Right.
way we see where we are right now versus where we think we should be. And that gap is where we get frustrated. And we think if we should our way, or if we negative talk our way, then we're going to fill in that gap. But what I find happens is when we start being grateful for everything that we do have in our life, if you're an entrepreneur and you have one client, be grateful for that one client instead of saying,
Yes.
where are the other 99? And so I find being grateful for what I have, and then being grateful and being full of faith and trust that what I don't have will come. And so I think that that's a great balance.
That is beautiful. And I truly am a believer in gratitude myself. It has certainly changed my life more than once. And yeah, absolutely. I totally concur with what you just said. So, folks, we appreciate you listening in today as Amber and I have had a chance to visit.
When you do nothing, nothing happens. Best time to take action is now. This is the time to work on you and your business. So I've created a group, an online academy for professionals and entrepreneurs. Power Partners will help you to start helping yourself.
Helped me change my life and my business.
Not a Toastmasters, it's not a BNI, it's not any of these, but it is. So it's all this stuff in one place.
Get the results that you deserve right now. So what are you waiting for? Let's make it happen. See you in Power Partners.
My name is Serena Buffalino. I am the founder of Help Heal Humanity. My career started off as a special education teacher. When my students found out that there were kids in this world that did not have the right to go to school, inspired them. The concept behind the Haiti School Building Project was a small handful of youth in Toronto would help a small handful of youth here in Haiti. The Haiti School Building Project finally opened up last year, September 2018. It has successfully been running for 7 months now, and what I have seen is nothing shy of beautiful. One person with the support of others can literally transform the planet.
Well, happy Monday, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode with America's Supermom. We are talking about marketing and mindset. Today, our topic is reflection. But before we get into that, I want to wish everyone happy Marketing Operations Appreciation Day. So if you are in the field of marketing, whether that's social media, anything, related to marketing, today is a day to appreciate you. So I just wanted to highlight that. And if you guys are wondering about where to find out about some of these unusual days of celebration, go to nationaltoday.com, and it has a list of all the different things that we celebrate, some of the quirky little holidays that come up. So like yesterday was Hug Your Dog Day, right? Tomorrow is Grilled Cheese Day, right? So thinking about different ways that you can add that to your marketing for content with anything that you might be posting. So for example, if it's Grilled Cheese Day, if you know anybody that has restaurants or maybe cheese vendors or bread vendors, anybody that's in your network that you can kind of reach out to and just send them a graphic wishing them happy Grilled Cheese Day, for example, right? It's not even like you really have to go through a formal thing. But for some of these different holidays, like with it being Hug Your Dog Day, if you had any animal post and maybe you want to tag PetSmart or some of these other animal related businesses, this is a great opportunity to do it when you have some of these non-traditional type of holidays that are taking place every day. So today we're talking about reflection. And reflection, I think, is something that is very important when it comes to really being able to navigate through life. So for many of you that might not be familiar with my story, I struggled for 13 years with depression. I was hospitalized 3 times. And I think a large part of me going through that journey was not really taking time to reflect. For those 13 years, I remember being somewhat on autopilot. Now, I was able to mask a lot of things that were going on in my life. I hid behind a smile all the time. But inside, I was beating myself up. I was thinking I was a failure. How could I do anything right? Because I was an only child. So my expectations for myself were so high. I didn't really have a lot of people that I could relate to because my husband and I had such a large family. I was talking to one of my daughters the other day, and we were just talking about 30, the age 30, because my oldest daughter is going to be turning 30 in July. And so we were having a conversation, and I said, I remember saying to myself that I didn't want to have any more children after 30. And she was really in awe by that because the last child I had, I was age 42. Um, but she said, "So how many kids did you have when you were 30?" And so I said, "Well, let's figure this out." So we're in the car driving, and I had 8 children at the age of 30. So, I mean, that is just really crazy to me, right? So, just thinking about the age, how young I was, still have my whole life ahead of me, but still had so many responsibilities at age 30. But I say all that to say that, when you go through life on autopilot, you really don't take time to figure out what's working, what's not working, how can I improve it, do it better. You just kind of are existing and looking at making it through a day, but not really planning on how to have the best performance or how you can improve and things like that. It's just like a very uneventful experience. So it wasn't until after my last hospitalization that I realized, I'm on autopilot. I really want to choose to be happy. Now, being happy does not mean that everything is going my way. We've just had spring break, and last week was the craziest week I have ever experienced in a while. I think I was in the emergency room one time, a children's hospital once, the dentist's office, and a number of things in between dealing with my children and it being spring break. So while I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to, do all these other things for my business, I'm going to get caught up on some stuff, life happens. And so when we go through these experiences, we still have the power to choose how we're going to respond. So looking through the lens of choosing to be happy really helped me with my attitude, how I showed up, just really being present in the moment with the attitude that I chose to have. So choosing to be happy doesn't mean that everything is going to always quote unquote work out the way you anticipated. There may be some frustrations, some things that you hadn't anticipated, some surprises. However, we have the ability to respond in a way that serves us based on how we choose to respond. So if you're choosing to be happy, that's definitely not a negative attitude. It's not usually yelling. It's not being selfish or any of these other things. We think about being happy as, peaceful, calm, and present and, attentive, all these different things. And so I think it's important to determine how you want to show up before you get there. So choosing to be happy has been such a game changer in my life. And so when we think about reflection, reflection is pretty much that same process. So you look at some things that might be happening. Now we're talking whether it's business or personal life. So you look at things and then you begin to examine, okay, what about this situation could I have improved on? How could I have done it better? What was the problem? What was working well? What skills can I put to this the next time? How can I get other people on board with this outcome that I'm looking for? So we think about how we can change a situation. Now, this is so important because the only time we really can change things is when we consciously choose to change them. So many times we take our conscious power and talk about what we're going to do, but we don't implement it. So this is where you have a lot of people that are getting listening to audiobooks, they're going to seminars and all these different things, just acquiring all this information. They're telling everybody about it. Hey, have you read that book? It's really great. These were some of the takeaways. However, the implementation is the disconnect. That's where the struggle lies. So the first part of that is going through the reflection. But when we think about the reflection, we want to think about how can we change it? So you think about if you made any mistakes. The best time to change those mistakes or to modify things is when you make the mistake. Now, many people are thinking, okay, that just doesn't seem like it's very profound. But oftentimes what we do is we keep on making the same mistake over and over and over again. It's a pattern. It's insane, right? Because insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So we will tell other people, we'll try to do something in the morning versus doing it at night or whatever, but we're still doing the same thing. So the ability for us to change it is when we make a mistake. So if you decide that you're learning how to play the piano and you realize you have to put your keys on certain notes in order to play the music, if you do not change that mistake, if you're thinking that one key is a certain note and it's something else, you need to change that before it gets to be a pattern or a routine. Have you ever met somebody and maybe you were going to introduce them at a presentation? And so, you get the agenda, you look over everybody's name. And so you're practicing everybody's name in your head, how you're going to pronounce it. And you pronounce the person's name incorrectly. So then they tell you the new way to say the name, but you revert back to what you've been practicing, because that's just how you have created a habit around that particular name. So this is something that we do a lot of times when we think about how we keep on with some of these mistakes and we don't interrupt that pattern. So we begin to interrupt that pattern when we ask questions, when we take some time to think about, is this the outcome that I wanted? If it's not, how can I change it? The only way we can change it is when we purposely, right, and intentionally choose to make a different plan for us to get to the different outcome. So, for example, if you're in a car, you are headed to Tennessee, and you find out the direction you're traveling is to Florida. Okay. So you're going away from Tennessee instead of towards Tennessee. So one thing you need to do is stop, correct the pathway that you're taking so that you can get to Tennessee. So that will require you to turn around into a different direction. Otherwise, you're going to keep on going further and further away from your destination and end up some time frame in the future not where you want to be. And so this is what happens when we don't reflect. When we don't say, you know what, let me just kind of do a check-in, make sure I'm going in the right direction, see how much longer it's going to take for me to get there, if you have a GPS or whatever the case may be. So this is what we need to do when we think about reflecting. Where am I? How are things going? Is there anything I can modify, change, improve? This is really just a check-in system for ourselves. We are able to check in before things get too far gone in the wrong direction. So that's what reflection can help us do. All right. So when we reflect, that's our opportunity to create a different outcome based on the plan that we choose to implement. So if I decide to turn around because I'm going in the wrong direction, that's the only time that I can do it is when I'm present. Otherwise, I'm just driving, I'm not thinking about driving. I'm just thinking about relaxing getting to that final destination, because there are things and systems that can help you once you determine the direction you're headed. So maybe I have cruise control on and I'm just heading closer and closer to Florida, but I'm going in the wrong direction if I'm trying to get to Tennessee. So we have systems in place and things that just work on autopilot. However, the one piece of consciousness that I have, which is really to determine which direction I'm supposed to be going to, that's about being conscious. That's about interrupting that habit, that routine, and making a conscious and intentional choice to decide what direction you want to head in. So if you're deciding that you want to go to Tennessee, then that was going to require you to be conscious and intentional and turn around so that you can get to Tennessee. So I hope that makes sense for everybody. Just kind of want to dive into that. All right. So then when we think about these things about what went well, how can I improve? These are not designed for us to beat ourselves up, feeling like we are really being hard on ourselves. It's really for us to kind of gauge how we can improve and can continue to improve in whatever it is that we're doing. So whether it's personal or it's business, really finding out how you can cut time, right? A lot of times we are trading time for money. You know, we're doing things within our industry to create value for other people, but it's taken us time to do so. So if you are conducting master classes, whether you're recording them or you're doing them live, that is still time that you're investing into a master class. So even if it's during the day, your kids are at school or whatever the case is, your spouse may be at work, you know, you still are investing these hours into people and projects that you can't get back, right? So you want to think about, if you're investing this time, how can you do it more efficiently? How can you get more accomplished? How can you repurpose something that you're doing 2 or 3 or 4 times over so that it serves you well beyond the initial time that you use to do this particular project? So this is really kind of the concept that we're thinking, you know, just reflecting here about the metaverse. So many of you are probably thinking this metaverse, this web stuff, NFTs, all these different things, right? Well, when we think about reflecting on, you know, where we're headed, you know, futuristically, you know, this is the time to reflect and think, you know what, technology is changing. I hear about this metaverse or I hear about these NFTs. What is a way that I can kind of take some time to really learn about some of these things so that I am moving forward and staying relevant? Okay, that's something to reflect on, because oftentimes when things are new, you know, we get a little intimidated. It's something that we're not familiar with. And instead of embracing it in a way that serves us, or, you know, gradually dipping our toe in the water, so to speak, we avoid it completely, bury our head in the sand. And then a lot of times we have things even harder when we are forced to transition into something. So imagine if I was still, you know, wanting to stay on my home phone with this long cord going from room to room, and I didn't want to embrace having a cordless phone. Well, if I wanted to have that kind of phone where I can have a long extension cord, a long cord where I can talk on the phone and I can go from room to room, right now, those kind of phones are pretty much obsolete, right? I don't think I've seen any long cords for a telephone here recently, or, you know, the phone where you're actually having it connected to the actual phone part, right? I've seen cordless phones now. I don't even see any that are, you know, have the cord where you have to talk in that room in real time. So thinking about that, you know, if we don't reflect and we don't take time to kind of examine where we are, where are things headed, where are we going, then we can get left behind when there's a lot of new changes that are taking place in the world today. All right. So we want to think about business opportunities, right? Think about how we can reflect on that. Who are some people that we can reach out to, that we can connect with, right? This is a great way for us to follow up and really, embrace that ability to reflect in a way that's going to serve us and help us to move forward. Because we want to think about how we can be more productive and efficient. So when you're thinking about business opportunities, who were some people I connected with this year? Who do I want to connect with next year? Are there some projects still by the end of the year that I can collaborate with people on? What type of events do I want to do? So really reflecting and thinking about this, because things change in real time. Maybe you weren't even thinking about certain industries, but because they are very popular now it's something to think about. So we're back to the metaverse or this new web type stuff that's going on, or NFTs. Maybe that wasn't even on your radar, but as we get more immersed into the topic, it's a great opportunity for you to reflect and say, who in my network may know something about these things that maybe I can collaborate with, or maybe they can host a webinar that's exclusive with some people in my connections, so that we can find out a little bit more about this, right? In a way that seems non-threatening. Another thing is thinking about reflecting on your daily schedule, right? What about my day just had me in a whirlwind? And how often during the week does this happen? Am I, for the most part, productive, accomplishing what I set on my to-do list? Or is my day kind of all over the place, right? Do I feel like I'm just chasing squirrels all day? Do I feel like I'm not getting anything done? I'm not feeling productive or fulfilled? This is something to reflect on, because we have the ability to change that if we find out the pattern that we are getting immersed in right now is not serving us. Okay. And then the last thing is personal care. This was something that could have been a game changer for me a long time ago, because as a mom with 15 children, I'm thinking, okay, self-care is great. I'm going to wait till my kids go to bed and then I'm going to have my time, but I'm exhausted, right? I was exhausted. I was falling asleep with my clothes on. I was doing all these different things that were just really not serving me, right? And I was under the pretense of thinking that that was my time. But that time was after I had given to everybody else. I was exhausted and I didn't even have enough to give to myself. So when you think about your personal care, is that schedule working for you? Yeah, you might have it all mapped out. You've got it on your calendar, color coded, but is it working, right? Is there something you can improve? Are you getting the maximum that you can out of this schedule, or, this mantra or belief system or pattern, right? So that is something that we want to think about. How can we take some time and do this on a regular basis? Usually if we do it at the end of the day, that prevents us from letting bad habits set in, right? If we check in with ourselves daily, then we can kind of nip some things in the bud before they get to be a bigger problem. So I hope that makes sense for everybody. And again, I want to wish you a happy Monday. If you have any questions or there's anything in particular that you would like me to discuss, please feel free to reach out to me. I would love for you to just put it in the comments, or you can reach out to me through Facebook Messenger or any other platforms, because I'm there under America's Supermom. But in the meantime, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Have a magnificent Monday and rest of the week. And I will see you on the next episode. Bye for now.